All the aldermen, just for the purposes of the roll call, would you please just go ahead and take yourself off mute now so you can.
Present.
Thank you. Alderman Franco.
Here.
Alderman Seville.
Here.
Alderman Hart Burns.
Here.
Alderman Smith.
Here.
Alderman Bug.
Here.
Alderman Lofsche.
Here.
Alderman Jenkins.
Here.
Alderman O'Connor.
Here.
And Mayor Irvin.
Present. Is there a motion to approve the minutes of the
So
Tuesday?
moved.
Hold on one second. I'm just going to have to finish it first. Is there a motion to approve the minutes of the Tuesday, March 10th, 2020 City Council meeting?
So moved.
Been a motion by Alderman Hart Burns. Is there a second? There's been a second by Alderman Jenkins. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion carries by voice
Mr.
vote.
Mayor,
Alderman O'Connor.
I have to abstain. I was not present at the meeting.
Noted. Alderman O'Connor will abstain as he was not present on the March 10th, 2020 City Council meeting.
Mr. Mayor,
Alderman
Yeah.
Seville.
if I was not present either, as it was the opinion of the Corporation Council, I will abstain as well.
So it'd be noted that Alderman Seville was not present and he will abstain. Alderman Smith.
I also was not present at this meeting, so I must abstain.
Alderman Smith has abstained as she was not present at the March 10th City Council meeting as well. All right. Madam Clerk, do we have any members of the public wishing to offer public comment?
We do.
Will you please read the preamble, ma'am?
Pursuant to the Open Meetings Act, all persons shall be permitted an opportunity to address public officials under the rules established and recorded by the council. Under our rules, any person may address the city council for up to 3 minutes with a maximum of 30 minutes allotted for all public comment. No person other than the timekeeper or the chair for the purpose of maintaining order may interrupt a person recognized for public comment during his or her comments. Members of the city council shall not engage with nor respond to a speaker during the time set aside for public comment. Staff is directed to follow up with members of the public with respect to any concerns raised during public comment within the scope of the city's authority following the adjournment of this meeting.
Ma'am, can you call the first speaker?
Marjorie Logman.
Hello to all of you. I hope you and your families are well. Mayor
Ms.
Irvin, I've been praying for you for a full recovery.
Thank you, Ms. Logman. I'm going to go ahead and start the timer right now and give you 3 minutes. You have 3 minutes at this point.
Okay. Yes, I was saying hello to all of you, and I hope you and your families are well. Mayor Irvin, I've been praying for you for a full recovery. I want to thank Chuck Nelson, Alex Manella, and the people of the engineering department that toured the train station with me. What looked good on paper has not been good in actuality. I appreciate the time they took, how they listened, and saw the need for change. So many people I encountered were thankful for this, as they also felt the layout didn't provide good access to transportation. Mayor Irvin, I saw it is up for a vote to have liquor sale restrictions fewer in the city. We have serious drug and alcohol issues. Also, our First Lady of Aurora, Marie Wilkinson, was before the council often to limit liquor sales. I have beacon articles that show that. Is this something that will make our city better or just more non-essential access to overindulgence? As we have all this time to ourselves, I hope we all take the time to think, breathe, care for each other, and reevaluate as we move forward again. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Clerk, do we have any additional speakers?
No additional speakers.
All right, let's move on to the next section of the agenda, new business. Clerk, can you read the first item under new business?
Item 20-0039, a resolution requesting approval to migrate the city's current document management system to Upland's FileBound Enterprise application, a 3-year annual maintenance and hosting fees renewal through Upland Software Incorporated, Austin, Texas, for a total 3-year cost of $159,769.19. One-time migration fees in the amount of $48,885.19, and annual recurring maintenance and hosting fees of $36,961.51 through December 2022.
So move.
There's been a motion to approve this resolution by Alderman Hart Burns. Is there a second?
Second.
The second is by Alderman Franco. Are there any questions or discussions regarding this resolution? There being none, will the clerk please call the roll? Each alderman, please take yourself off mute for the purpose of the roll call.
Alderman Yamas,
Yes.
Alderman Garza, Alderman Donnell,
Yes.
Alderman Franco,
Yes.
Alderman Seville,
Yes.
Alderman Hart Burns,
yes,
Alderman Smith,
Yes.
Alderman Bug. Alderman Bug, off mute.
Come back to Alderman Buggy. His computer appears to be frozen.
Alderman Lopshi,
Yes.
Alderman Jenkins,
Yes.
Alderman O'Connor,
Yes.
Alderman Bug.
Bug is experiencing technical difficulties. Council, we still have a quorum. Can we go forward with that?
Yeah, you would be able to count him as a non-vote at this point.
Alderman Bug will be a non-vote until his technical difficulties are fixed. Motion carries. The resolution is approved. Clerk, could you read the next item under new business?
Item 20-0150, resolution establishing the maximum number of Class G1 City of Aurora liquor licenses unofficially related to application from OHMJA Incorporated, DBA 711, number 33064C, Aurora 60506.
so move,
There has been a motion to approve this resolution by Alderman Shakita Hart Burns. Is there a second?
Second.
The second is made by Alderman Jenkins. Are there any questions or discussions regarding this resolution? There being none, clerk, will you please call the roll?
Alderman Yamas,
Yes.
Alderman Garza, Alderman Donnell,
Yes.
Alderman Franco,
Yes.
Alderman Seville,
Yes.
Alderman Hart Burns,
yes,
Alderman Smith,
Yes.
Alderman Bug, Alderman Lopshi,
Yes.
Alderman Jenkins,
Yes.
Alderman O'Connor,
Yes.
Motion, go ahead, Jen.
9 yes, 1 not vote, and 2 absent.
Motion carries. The resolution is approved. Will you need to read the next item under new business?
Item 20-0151. A resolution authorizing the city of Aurora to enter into an intergovernmental agreement with Will County that will allow the city of Aurora to host electronic recycling events.
so
I have a-
move,
There's been a motion to approve by Alderman Hart Burns, second by Alderman Jenkins. Are there any questions or discussions regarding this resolution? There being no questions, will the clerk please call the roll?
Alderman Yamas,
Yes.
Alderman Garza, Alderman Donnell.
Yes.
Did I hear a yes from Alderman Garza?
She is not
No.
on yet.
Alderman Franco,
Yes.
Alderman Seville,
Yes.
Alderman Hart Burns,
yes,
Alderman Smith,
Yes.
Alderman Bug, Alderman Lopshi,
Yes.
Alderman Jenkins,
Yes.
Alderman O'Connor.
Yes.
9 yes, 2 absent, 1 not voting.
Motion carries. The resolution is approved. Will you read the next item under new business, clerk?
Item 20-0153, a resolution to allow the Youth Services Division to apply for a Kane County Grand Victoria Riverboat Grant to establish a new portable soccer field program.
so move,
There's been a motion to approve made by Alderman Hart Burns.
Second.
There's been a second made by Alderman Jenkins. Are there any questions or discussions regarding this resolution?
I do.
Alderman Franco.
So I'm looking at this as an essential or non-essential situation. I'd like somebody to explain this because applying for a grant obviously doesn't mean we're going to put any money towards it. But right now, youth services would be on the block for $5,500. And not knowing when this is going to happen, I don't know if this is the right time to be doing something like this. Having coached soccer in Aurora for a number of years, I seem to think there's plenty of fields. So I don't know if we need to put this extra cost out there now given the conditions we're in, we don't know when we're going to use it. So if somebody can explain how this process is going to work going forward, when the money's going to be divvied out, how that works.
Can someone from staff address that? Mr. Lyons, Marty Lyons, CFO.
Yes, Alderman. In discussing this with staff, and I think we do have others topically on the call as well, but by applying, one of the other things that we're considering is that, like a lot of these grants, they'll get extended. During the Great Recession, the grant was held, but this will put us first in line. There's a potential that we may not be doing anything with this summer, depending on the extension of the grants, but we would be in line. And I think the standard line of don't apply for a grant if you can't execute it, that's probably going to be relaxed quite a bit, that we will receive forgiveness if 6 months from now we decided that we really didn't want to spend the $5,500. We would go to community number 2 that might be able to do it with no harm, no foul. I'd be happy to, I think that's the case. This was not Dan Barrero's, it was really Ken, wasn't this you and your team with Geo?
No, I believe it's Dan Barrero. Mr. Barrero?
Yes, this was a collaboration with youth services and parks, because we would be able to use some of the park facilities, but also we could use this at different events and out in the neighborhoods. The idea for our share, is to raise the money by having advertisement on the portable fields, so that it would not involve any city funds. So that was our approach.
Does that answer your question, Alderman Franco?
Yeah, so help me with this. So going forward, we apply for the grant, let's say we get it 6 months from now, we will still determine if we want to put any money forward with this, because obviously things are going to change. And we're going to have to look at necessities and what's important and what isn't, what we can do without. So as long as that is what potential to happen down the road, then I'm good with that, applying for the grant, just getting in line. I get that, as long as we have to say later.
Is that the case, Mr. Lyons?
That is my understanding of that we would need to come back to the council for approval of the project. So there'll be the total $50,000, to purchase the actual field. So we would have to come back to the council, because that would be over $25,000.
Thank you. Just so the record can reflect that Alderman Bug has back on the screen. He's fixed his technical difficulties and he's back with us. So clerk, can you please mark that down? Also, is there any other questions on that particular item? All right, with there being no further questions, clerk, can you please call the roll?
Alderman Yamas?
Yes.
Alderman Garza here yet? Alderman
Not yet.
Donnell?
Yes.
Alderman Franco?
Franco, you're still on mute.
Sorry, yes.
Alderman Seville?
Yes.
Alderman Hart Burns?
Yes.
Alderman Smith?
Yes.
Alderman Bug?
Yes.
Alderman Lofshe?
Yes.
Alderman Jenkins?
Yes.
Alderman O'Connor?
Yes.
10 ayes.
Motion carries. The resolution is approved. Good to have you back, Alderman Bug. Clerk, you want to read the next item under new business?
20-0156, a resolution reappointing Melanie Wimbley, Joseph Grisson III, and Francis Frank Johnson to the Aurora Housing Authority Board.
So move.
There's been a motion made to approve by Alderman Hart Burns.
Second.
There's been a second by Alderman Seville. Are there any questions or discussion regarding this resolution? There being none, clerk, will you please call the roll?
Alderman Yamas?
Yes.
Alderman Garza here? Alderman Masiacos? Alderman Donnell?
Yes.
Alderman Franco?
Yes.
Alderman Seville?
Yes.
Alderman Hart Burns?
Yes.
Alderman Smith?
Yes.
Alderman Bug?
Yes.
Alderman Lofshe?
Yes.
Alderman Jenkins?
Yes.
Alderman O'Connor?
Yes.
10 ayes.
Motion carries. The resolution is approved. Clerk, can you read the next item?
20-0158, a resolution authorizing the purchase of 12 ballistic vests and helmets in the amount of $33,023.76 from Ray O'Haron of Danville, Illinois.
So move.
There's been a motion to approve made by Alderman Hart Burns. Is there a second?
Second.
There's been a second made by Alderman Jenkins. Are there any questions or discussion regarding this resolution? There being none, clerk, will you please call the roll?
Alderman Yamas,
Yes.
Alderman Donnell,
Yes.
Alderman Franco,
Yes.
Alderman Seville,
Yes.
Alderman Hart Burns,
Yes.
Alderman Smith,
Yes.
Alderman Bug,
Yes.
Alderman Lopshi,
Yes.
Alderman Jenkins,
Yes.
Alderman O'Connor,
Yes.
10 ayes.
Motion carries. The resolution is approved. Clerk, can you read the next item under new business?
20-0165, a resolution authorizing the Director of Purchasing to enter into an agreement with Geneva Construction Company, P.O. Box 998, Aurora, Illinois, 60507-0998, in the amount of $802,630 for the 2020 citywide paving patching for water and sewer maintenance.
So move.
There's been a motion to approve this resolution made by Alderman Hart Burns. Can I have a second?
Second.
There's been a second made by Alderman Jenkins. Are there any questions or discussion regarding this resolution? There being, Alderman O'Connor? None? There
No.
being none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Alderman Yamas,
Yes.
Alderman Donnell,
Yes.
Alderman Franco,
Yes.
Alderman Seville,
Yes.
Alderman Hart Burns,
Yes.
Alderman Smith,
Yes.
Alderman Bug,
Yes.
Alderman Lopshi,
Yes.
Alderman Jenkins,
Yes.
Alderman O'Connor,
Yes.
10 ayes.
Motion carries. The resolution is approved. Clerk, can you read the next item under new business?
20-0166, a resolution to award the contract for the Timberlake Court to Colorado Court Water Main Extension Project to Brandt Excavating Incorporated, 385 East Hoover Street, Morris, Illinois, 60450, in the amount of $64,360.50.
So move.
There's been a motion made to approve the resolution by Alderman Hart Burns. Can I have a second?
Second.
There was a second made by Alderman Franco. Are there any questions or discussion regarding this resolution? There being none, clerk, will you please call the roll?
Alderman Yamas,
Yes.
Alderman Donnell,
Yes.
Alderman Franco,
Yes.
Alderman Seville,
Yes.
Alderman Hart Burns,
Yes.
Alderman Smith,
Yes.
Alderman Bug,
Yes.
Alderman Lopshi,
Yes.
Alderman Jenkins,
Yes.
Alderman O'Connor,
Yes.
10 ayes.
Motion carries. The resolution is approved. Clerk, can you read the next item?
20-0169, a resolution requesting authorization for the mayor to execute the local public agency amendment number 2 for federal participation with the state of Illinois, and the mayor to execute the phase 3 construction engineering agreement supplement number 1 with HR Green Incorporated, 2363 Sequoia Drive, Suite 101, Aurora, Illinois, 60506, in the amount of $499,970.11 for the Aurora Transportation Center Regional Facility Enhancement Project, FT section number 16-00313-00-MS wards 1 and 6.
So move.
There's been a motion to approve this resolution by Alderman Hart Burns. Can I have a second? There's been a second by Alderman Seville. Are there any questions or discussion regarding this resolution? There being no questions or discussions, clerk, will you please call the roll?
Alderman Yamas.
Yes.
Is Alderman Garza present yet?
Not yet.
I've heard she's in the waiting room. If someone can check, please. Alderman Donnell,
Yes.
Alderman Franco,
Yes.
Alderman Seville,
Yes.
Alderman Hart Burns,
Yes.
Alderman Smith,
Yes.
Alderman Bug,
Yes.
Alderman Lopshi,
Yes.
Alderman Jenkins,
Yes.
Alderman O'Connor,
Yes.
10 ayes.
Motion carries. The resolution is approved. Before we go to the next item, Mr. Anderson, can you determine if Alderman Garza is in the waiting room and if she can be allowed in the meeting?
The waiting room is empty. I think she's still having technical difficulties.
Thank you. Or can you read the next item under new business?
Item 20-0171, a resolution awarding 4 sub-grantee contracts for Census 2020 outreach services not to exceed $100,000.
So move.
There's been a motion to approve the resolution by Alderman Hart Burns. Can I have a second?
Second.
Second by Alderman Franco. Are there any questions or discussions regarding this resolution?
Yes.
Alderman Patty Smith, I'm sorry. Alderman Smith.
Yeah, maybe some discussion on this. Obviously, you know, with the census, we have to spend money to make money, so to say. But given the situation and the time that we're in, a lot of time was lost for these census committees to get out and do the work that they had intended to do. And we do have 4 grants involved in this, and in addition to the city's funding as well. So not to say that we don't need the city's money, but to ask for some form of follow-up and accounting on what's being done with the census committees now, since so much time was lost and additional time has been given to make up for the time lost. So it's, you know, still a lot of money, and we got to be watching what we're spending. So I think we just need to be watching and be given some kind of accounting for the city's money involved in this.
Dan Barrero, would you like to give a little response in what's going on with our census efforts at this time?
Yes, as a sub-grantee, we're involved in multiple call-ins where we check in as a sub-grantee and get status updates on the census and what everybody's doing across the state. And basically with COVID-19, the Census Bureau has adjusted the timetables. So they are extending the self-response period from July 31st to August 14th. They did suspend field work for 2 weeks, but we're anticipating that they're going to issue another set of timetables where they will probably be making adjustments on that. The majority of the dollars that we were going to utilize for, for census outreach through our grants was going to be utilized in this particular disbursement of funds to these sub-grantees. And our main focus was going to be to do outreach in hard to count census tracts, also to set up census questionnaire assistance centers at various locations throughout the community to help individuals access and to participate in the census if they don't have access to the internet.
Oh, you want me to start over here? Oh, over there. Okay, okay.
Hold on 1 second, Ms. Verb. Alderman Garza. All right, so
Yes?
we've got Alderman Garza on, but we need you to go ahead and push mute just for a few minutes. Thank you. Continue, Alderman Barrera.
Yes, so we are presently adjusting. We had to cancel our last CCC, our complete count committee meeting, but we are planning to hold a meeting via Zoom for April, so we can get an update on all of our subcommittees to see where everybody's at. We are reaching out to our funders to see if we can redirect the funds from the way that we had envisioned initially to doing more of electronic and advertisement types of initiatives. So we're exploring some additional things in addition to what we already looked at, because some of those things are not going to be viable anymore. So we are planning to make an adjustment. I will say that at this point, it does look like we probably will not spend all the grant dollars, but we're going to be very strategic and make sure we continue to reach the community. The communications department has been putting out advertisements through social media, and we'll continue to do that. We're looking at postcards for different portions of the community, various census tracts for the areas that are lagging behind in participation. As of 2 days ago, the participation rate in Aurora was 39.6%, which is slightly ahead of the state average, and we're 3% above the national average. So right now we're holding our own.
Let me ask you one. Let me jump in there for a second, Mr. Barrera. So 10 years ago, at this point in the first week of April, what percentage were we at? Do you have those numbers?
I do not have that information, but I can tell you where we were at the end of the 2010 self-participation rate portion,
Mhm.
and we were at 72%. So that's the time period where residents were able to participate. Back then, it was through paper copy. So questionnaires were sent out. Residents were asked to return them via mail, and our participation rate at that time in 2010 was 72%.
And that
So
was
we're
by
getting
what
close to that.
month? By what month? Was that by July?
I forget what that time period would have been about summertime. Yeah.
Okay. So it sounds like, since we're only beginning of spring here, that we're ahead of the game, sounds like, huh?
We're holding our own. As we get higher in the percentages, it gets harder to make those additional gains.
Gotcha.
And that's where we need to be more targeted.
All right. Now, and let me just say that, this crisis that we're dealing with COVID-19, at some point will pass. At some point, there will be some cure or something, that get us past the point that we're at now. And we can't allow ourselves not to focus on the importance of what we're doing and what we'll need to do with the census over the next couple of months, because the census results last for 10 years. It's 10 years. So we've got to make sure that we get as inaccurate as accounts as we possibly can, even given the circumstance and crisis we're dealing with now, to make sure that we get all the money and resources that we should, based on the number of individuals or citizens or residents we have in the city of Aurora. So, although I hear exactly what you're saying, Alderman Smith, we can't let up on the census at all, because it's too important for us over the next 10 years. Alderman Smith.
I wasn't, and I indicated when I first started talking, I wasn't suggesting that we were pulling back on the money. I would just wanted some clarification to what we were doing with our money and with the 4 grantors that were.
Any other alderman? All right.
Alderman Bug has a question.
Alderman Bug,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Okay. Is the hand raised function still working?
We're just,
Yes,
let me see.
yes, it is.
Okay.
Yes, I see your hand.
Okay. On this matter, the 4 subgrantees, did they begin work? Did they work on voting day?
Dan Barrerio.
One of our subgrantees did begin work, and they were out there in some of the hard to count census tract, and we did have a presence on voting day. But as you know, we had to change direction because of the messaging about social distancing. So the only thing we were able to do was to set up tables with information regarding the census. We were not able to staff them or have tablets available for participation because we had to switch gears in that regard.
Okay. Which subgrantee has begun work?
African American Men of Unity.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions from the alderman? All right, just let the record reflect Alderman Garza is with us now in the council meeting. So clerk, will you please call the roll if there are no further questions or discussion? Call the roll.
Alderman Yamas,
Yes.
Alderman Garza,
Yes.
Alderman Donnell,
Yes.
Alderman Franco,
Yes.
Alderman Seville,
Yes.
Alderman Hart Burns,
Yes.
Alderman Smith,
Yes.
Alderman Bug,
Yes.
Alderman Lopshi,
Yes.
Alderman Jenkins,
Yes.
Alderman O'Connor,
Yes.
11 A's.
Motion carries. The resolution is approved. Clerk, can you read the next item under new business?
20-0176, a resolution approving of third-party administrative services for communities and schools to administer summer programs.
So moved.
So move.
There's been a motion to approve this resolution by Alderman Jenkins and a second by Alderman Hart Burns. Are there any questions or discussions on this resolution? There being no questions or discussion, will the clerk please call the roll?
Alderman Yamas,
Yes.
Alderman Garza,
Yes.
Alderman Donnell,
Yes.
Alderman Franco,
Yes.
Alderman Seville,
Yes.
Alderman Hart Burns,
Yes.
Alderman Smith,
Yes.
Alderman Bug,
Yes.
Alderman Lopshi,
Yes.
Alderman Jenkins,
Yes.
Alderman O'Connor,
Yes.
11 ayes.
Motion carries. The resolution is approved. Clerk, can you read the next item?
20-0178, a resolution to allow the Parks and Recreation Division to apply for a King County Grand Victoria Riverboat Grant to help create a new educational area at the Phillips Park.
So moved.
There's been a
Second.
motion to approve this resolution by Alderman Hart Burns and a second by Alderman Garza. Are there any questions or discussion regarding this resolution? There being no questions or discussion, will the clerk please call the roll?
Alderman Yamas,
Yes.
Alderman Garza,
Yes.
Alderman Janelle,
Yes.
Alderman Franco,
Yes.
Alderman Seville,
Yes.
Alderman Hart Burns,
Yes.
Alderman Smith,
Alderman Smith, you're on mute.
Yes.
Alderman Bug,
Yes.
Alderman Lopshi,
Yes.
Alderman Jenkins,
Yes.
Alderman O'Connor,
Yes.
11 ayes.
Motion carries. The resolution is approved. Clerk, read the next item.
20-0183, a resolution approving a revised grant agreement between the cities for financial empowerment and the city of Aurora to create a financial empowerment center in the city.
So moved.
There's been a motion to
Second.
approve this resolution by Alderman Hart Burns. The second was made by Alderman Garza. Are there any questions or discussions regarding this resolution?
Mr. Mayor,
Alderman O'Connor.
would it be possible for Mr. Debo, since he's online with us here, to briefly explain where we're at on this? I know we had done some of the work before the end of the year, kind of catch us up as to what is literally happening under this particular resolution.
I don't believe this is Mr. Debo's under his purview. This would be Dr. Holloway, isn't it?
I think that's correct. I think I'm on the.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I think I'm on the.
I was on to the next one.
The next one. So do you have a question on this or the next one?
No, not on this one. I apologize.
Not on this one? Okay, all right. So, okay, the question is withdrawn. Do anyone have any questions on 20-0183? There being no questions, clerk, will you please call the roll?
Alderman Yamas,
Yes.
Alderman Garza,
Yes.
Alderman Denell,
Yes.
Alderman Franco,
Yes.
Alderman Seville,
Yes.
Alderman Hart Burns,
Yes.
Alderman Smith,
Yes.
Alderman Bug,
Yes.
Alderman Lopshi,
Yes.
Alderman Jenkins,
Yes.
Alderman O'Connor,
Yes.
11 ayes.
Motion carries. The resolution is approved. Clerk, can you read the next item under new business?
20-0193, a resolution authorizing the specific implementation as outlined in the attached redevelopment agreement, RDA, as to how disbursements will be made for the previously approved $600,000 loan, resolution number 19-421, and other details regarding the payback and loan mechanics.
So moved.
There's been a
Second.
motion. There's been a motion to approve made by Alderman Hart Burns, seconded by Alderman Garza. Are there any questions or discussion? And Alderman O'Connor.
Mr.
Has a
Mayor, I apologize. Turned the page too quickly. So
No problem.
this is the one that I would like Mr. Debo, if he's available here, to mention where we're at on this situation. So.
Sure. Hi, everybody. So as the resolution stated, this was originally approved, I would say in concept, and yet with some detail in December of 2019. But the condition really was that we were going to come up with a detailed redevelopment agreement. And of course, that was a good thing because we had a detail. This was a $600,000 loan to the Craft Urban over at 41 South Stolp, and how that loan was going to be administered, the mortgage, the detail, all the detail that's in the RDA and in the write-up described how that was going to happen. So we worked on that, and that's how we got to today. In terms of the project itself, it is moving ahead. The developer and their architects are very close to submitting plans for approval. So, and this is including during the point of the virus. I was in touch, I think this past week, maybe it was last week, with the builder in terms of the timing. So things are proceeding. Marty and I have spoken about this in detail. If anybody's got any other questions on that, but does that answer generally where we are, Alderman?
Alderman
Yes.
O'Connor? Okay.
Yes.
Any other questions or discussion? Alderman Lofty? You're on mute, sir. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
sir. So just Dave, Dave Debo, have they raised the 300,000 that they're responsible for? I'm just worried about giving them 50,000 if they haven't raised what they're supposed to raise. Do you know?
Well, we've spoken to the investor, and the investor is there. The investor was there actually at the original closing. Don't forget, the way this deal was originally done was we insisted that the actual owner purchased the property. So he purchased the property for cash for $150,000. So they are in the deal. The next tranche would be our $600,000. And then the final fit up, the $300,000 to do the final fit up, would be on their side of the table. So that's how it was structured. So we're comfortable that they will deliver on the 300,000, but they have delivered already on the 150,000, which was key to us, which quite frankly, given everything that's going on with the virus, they are in the deal right now, actually more than we are at this point. And that was by design. And generally, when we do these deals with these developers, we like to make sure that they are in the deal. And this is actually a very good example where as we sit, they're in the deal. We're not quite in the deal financially yet, but we would be after this $600,000.
Any other questions or discussion? There being none, clerk, will you please call the roll?
Alderman Yamas?
Yes.
Alderman Garza? Yes? Alderman Garza, was that a yes?
Yes.
Thank you. Alderman Donnell?
Yes.
Alderman Franco?
Yes.
Alderman Seville?
Yes.
Alderman Hart Burns?
Yes.
Alderman Smith?
Yes.
Alderman Bug?
Yes.
Alderman Lopshi?
Yes.
Alderman Jenkins?
Yes.
Alderman O'Connor?
Yes.
11 ayes.
Motion carries. The resolution is approved. Clerk, can you read the next item?
20-0219, an ordinance confirming a state of emergency within the city of Aurora due to the COVID-19 pandemic.
So move.
There's been a motion to adopt this ordinance made by Alderman
Second.
Hart Burns. There's been a second made by Alderman Garza. Are there any questions or discussions regarding this resolution? Alderman Donnell.
Mayor, if for my benefit and the benefit of those watching, we could have a brief discussion on what this entails.
Council. You're on mute, Rick.
There we go.
Council.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Alderman. What this resolution essentially entails is it confirms the mayoral declaration of a state of emergency that was issued last month related to the COVID-19 pandemic. The mayor's declaration follows the declaration of the governor and is based in it finds its basis on the emergency that the governor as well as the president have declared related to COVID-19. What this declaration essentially does, it allows for the mayor to exercise certain powers, which are 11 powers, which are specifically enumerated in section 2-45 of the city code during the time of the state of emergency. This particular resolution would declare the state of emergency to remain in effect until May 15th, unless the mayor or the governor earlier declare that the state has passed. So this would essentially continue the state of emergency no longer than May 15th and may even be shorter if for whatever reason the governor and the mayor were of the opinion that the emergency no longer existed.
Alderman
And if
Donnell,
I
go ahead.
Just as a follow-up, so this emergency gives us the ability to meet in this format, is that correct?
Between this, the emergency powers under our city ordinance, as well as the executive order issued by the governor, has facilitated this extraordinary meeting where we're not meeting in person.
All right, thank you.
Alderman Franco, did you have a question?
No.
Any other questions or discussion? There being none, clerk, will you please call the roll?
Alderman Yamas?
Yes.
Alderman Garza?
Yes.
Alderman Donnell,
Yes.
Alderman Franco,
Yes.
Alderman Seville,
Yes.
Alderman Hart Burns,
Yes.
Alderman Smith,
Yes.
Alderman Bug,
Yes.
Alderman Lopshi,
Yes.
Alderman Jenkins,
Yes.
Alderman O'Connor,
Yes.
11 A's.
Motion carries. The ordinance is approved. Can you read the next item under new business, clerk?
20-0221, an ordinance reserving 2020 volume cap in connection with private activity bond issues and related matters.
So move.
There's been a
Second.
motion to adopt the ordinance by Alderman Shakita Hart Burns, a second by, who made the second?
I did.
Second.
Alderman O'Connor. Seconded. Are there any questions or discussions, or do you need Mr. Lyons to give a brief overview of what this is? Mr. Lyons,
I would like a brief overview because I'm not familiar with this.
Mr. Lyons.
Good afternoon, members of council. This is an annual process wherein the city has the choice each year to take what's called its volume cap, which is a grant of authority by the state of Illinois based on a per capita. So we get roughly $100 per capita of lending ability without using our own money or our own credit, where we can do volume cap or industrial revenue bonds. The other alternative would be to actually turn this money over to another government agency to use. And what we're saying to the state in this agenda item is, no, we will use our own, and we'd like to keep it for our own purposes in case we have any corporation that would like to borrow under this authority. And it basically allows them to borrow at a slightly lower rate than they would if they were borrowing on their own in the open market.
Any additional? Go ahead, Alderman Franco.
Ultimately, this encourages businesses to come here to do business with us because we can offer a lower rate because we're part of this program. Is that what we're looking at?
Yes.
Any additional questions or discussion? There being none, clerk, will you please call the roll?
Alderman Yamas,
Yes.
Alderman Garza,
Yes.
Alderman Donnell,
Yes.
Alderman Franco,
Yes.
Alderman Seville,
Yes.
Alderman Hart Burns,
Yes.
Alderman Smith,
Yes.
Alderman Bug,
Looks like we may have lost Alderman Bug on the screen. Go to the next one.
Alderman Lopshi,
Yes.
Alderman Jenkins,
Yes.
Alderman O'Connor,
Yes.
10 A's, 1 not vote.
All right, motion carries. The ordinance is adopted. Can you read the next item, clerk?
20-0228, a resolution accepting the improvements and waiving the maintenance security for Fox Valley Farms, 2619 Beverly Drive.
So move.
There's been a motion to approve the
Second.
resolution made by Alderman Hart Burns, seconded by Alderman Garza. Are there any questions or discussion regarding this resolution? There being no questions or discussion, clerk, will you please call the roll?
Alderman Yamas,
Yes.
Alderman Garza,
Yes.
Alderman Donnell,
Yes.
Alderman Franco,
Yes.
Alderman Seville,
Yes.
Alderman Hart Burns,
Yes.
Alderman Smith,
Yes.
Alderman Buck,
Yes.
Alderman Lopshi,
Yes.
Alderman Jenkins,
Yes.
Alderman O'Connor,
Yes.
11 A's.
Motion carries. The resolution is approved. Can you read the next item under new business?
20-0233, an ordinance amending the annual budget for the fiscal year beginning January 1, 2019 and ending December 31st, 2019, amendment number 3 for the 2019 fiscal year.
So move.
There's been a motion to approve and adopt this ordinance by Alderman Hart Burns, seconded by Alderman Garza. Are there any questions or discussion? There being no questions or discussion, clerk, you want to call the roll?
Alderman Yamas.
I'm sorry. Did Alderman Yamas have his hand up?
No, I was just reaching for the mute button.
All right. I'm sorry. Go ahead, clerk.
Alderman Yamas,
Yes.
Alderman Garza,
Yes.
Alderman Donnell,
Yes.
Alderman Franco,
Franco, you have your mute on.
Sorry, yes.
Alderman Seville,
Yes.
Alderman Hartburns,
Yes.
Alderman Smith,
Yes.
Alderman Bug,
Yes.
Alderman Lopshi,
Yes.
Alderman Jenkins,
Yes.
Alderman O'Connor,
Yes.
11 A's.
Motion carries. The ordinance is adopted. Clerk, can you read the next item under new business?
20-0235, an ordinance authorizing the approval of an intergovernmental agreement between the City of Aurora and the Illinois Department of Health Care and Family Services in connection with supplemental ambulance rates.
So move.
There's been a motion to adopt the ordinance made by Alderman Hartburns, seconded by
Second.
Alderman Jenkins. Are there any questions or discussions on this ordinance? There being none, clerk, will you call the roll?
Alderman Yamas,
Yes.
Alderman Garza,
Yes.
Alderman Donnell,
Yes.
Alderman Franco,
Yes.
Alderman Seville,
Yes.
Alderman Hartburns,
Yes.
Alderman Smith,
Yes.
Alderman Bug,
Yes.
Alderman Lopshi,
Yes.
Alderman Jenkins,
Yes.
Alderman O'Connor,
Yes.
11 A's.
Motion carries. The ordinance is adopted. Can you read the last item under new business, clerk?
20-1184, a resolution to execute the intergovernmental agreement between the City of Aurora, Illinois and Regional Transportation Authority, RTA, Chicago, Illinois for the Access to Transit Aurora Transportation Center, ATC, East Platform Parking Lot Enhancement.
So move.
There's been a motion to adopt the resolution by Alderman Hartburns, a second by Alderman Garza. Are there any questions or discussions regarding this resolution? There being none, clerk, will you please call the roll?
Alderman Yamas,
Yes.
Alderman Garza,
Yes.
Alderman Donnell,
Yes.
Alderman Franco,
Yes.
Alderman Seville,
Yes.
Alderman Hartburns,
Yes.
Alderman Smith,
Yes.
Alderman Bug,
Alderman Bug, you're on mute.
Yes.
Alderman Lopshi,
Yes.
Alderman Jenkins,
Yes.
Alderman O'Connor,
Yes.
11 A's.
Motion carries. The resolution is approved. Is there a motion to accept and file the financial
moved.
report on COVID-19 impact for
Second.
29,
So
20
move.
for the 2020 city budget? There's been a motion made by Alderman Hartburns to accept and file the report, seconded by Alderman Garza. Are any questions? All in favor?
Wait.
Mr. Mayor?
Oh, I'm sorry, Alderman Seville.
Yeah, will there be a report to the city based on this information?
Mr. Lyons?
Good afternoon, members of council. As noted in the report, that is a preliminary report in total. It is backed by a lot of data coming out of our financial system, as well as information provided by the state and county governments. So when we look at the revenue reduction portion of the memoranda, that comes from learning from both the state and how they're handling businesses being open, and how we see that funneling through our revenue stream. This report shows the revenue loss only through September 30th. We do not want to project too long into the future. That's not what the mode of operations is for any of our forms of government. The state and federal governments are not projecting out long-term scenarios yet. So this is about as long as we see this projection of a $30 million revenue loss. And the goal of this scenario was to show how long it would take for the general fund to end up at a zero cash reserve if we kept all of our operations running and we had this amount of revenue loss. We will be doing further scenarios as noted in the memorandum. We are, and noted today on our agenda, we are seriously looking at every capital project. By its omission today, one of the largest capital projects we do each year is the roadway maintenance project for $8 million. And that was presented to committee of the whole, but it's not being presented to council. It's being deferred. We've asked the vendor to hold their pricing until June 1 while we wait and see how the COVID-19 situation progresses. So I'd be happy to take any questions, but as noted in the report, we have shown the revenues we may lose, and then the resources that we may be able to draw on from our other funds to keep our operations going.
Alderman Lofty.
Yep. Marty, thank you for this detailed report. It's excellent. I have a question in light of what you just said about capital projects. At the end of the year, we approved a $1.825 million contract for architecture for the new warehouse and gas pump and all that stuff. Are we gonna, what's gonna happen with that?
We have.
Let me hold on. Mr. Alexander, you want to talk a little bit about that? You're on mute.
Yes, sir. Before Marty gets too far, I have not had a chance to update him, but in speaking with the mayor and team and with Ken Schroth, we are going to allow Kluber to complete in the next 2 weeks the schematic phase of the project, and then we are going to be holding and then having further discussions with legal counsel to review the contract and the situation. But we're at that point where it didn't make sense to hold it without at least completing that schematic, and then we will have Ken and engineering pick that up from there and then continue to hold.
And if I'm not mistaken, Kluber has also volunteered not to be billed for up to a year if necessary, given our financial circumstances because of COVID-19.
And that's something we're going to take into consideration, talking with staff and with them.
Any additional questions, Alderman Lofty?
Nope.
Oh, I'm sorry. Mr. Lyons, did you want to?
I just wanted to, I think Ken had pointed out to me the schematic part is not a large part of the 1.8 million. So somewhere the 250,000 sticks in my head, Ken, but I will happily be corrected. We've had several discussions, but so we are mindful of that when we've looked at all of the capital projects, trying to figure out what design we need to keep doing, what we can do in-house since we have staff here, and what outside design we should put on hold. So we've been looking at all of those, and this will become apparent over the next 2 months in council agendas.
Any other questions or comments from the council?
Mr. Mayor.
Alderman O'Connor.
I assume this is going to be available because it is the public record now. So it would be helpful, I think, if Mr. Lyons would be able to work with representatives of the media to not just concentrate on those big numbers, which unfortunately show up, but also as he has discussed in it, what the possibilities are, what the options are, and some other opportunities here so that we have a little better understanding of it rather than just a blasting headline, city to lose X amount of dollars. So,
Mr. Alexandru, you're on mute.
Alderman O'Connor, that's an excellent point, and it's duly noted. We are not only reviewing daily all of our capital projects, but we are also reviewing the ever-changing situation with revenue streams, any federal or state stimulus or other financial assistance, and trying to factor all that into our budget. As you know, 4 of our major revenue streams that have been tried and true for many, many years, the Simon Outlet Mall, the Fox Valley Mall, the casino, and the Paramount, sadly are dark right now. And so that is a major interruption to our revenue stream. And that's why initially the mayor asked Marty and our team to look at a worst case scenario to September. So from that sort of beginning with the end in mind, we're backing it down. So you're exactly right. These numbers in Marty's memo are projections based on modeling. And so we are literally daily reviewing everything. And the idea is to report back out on a regular basis to all of you and to the public as things develop.
Any further questions or discussion? Alderman Jenkins.
either staff or any of our veteran aldermen, can you ever remember the last time we had reserves at 0? I guess not. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor,
Alderman O'Connor.
I don't, but I think as Marty has pointed out, given the nature of the expenses in our city, we've not had the luxury of being able to carry a cash balance or a carryover of 30 to 40% as some governmental bodies do, simply by nature of everything we're doing. So yeah, this is the first time, I don't even know what the records are in the Depression, Great Depression, what happened in the city, but obviously this is the first time we've ever been in this kind of position. And I do appreciate the administration. I appreciate Marty's putting forth all the facts so that we really understand what is happening. And I think, Mr. Alexander, your comment about the $2.2 billion or $1 trillion passage that's coming, I think our citizens also want to know what are the possibilities, what does this mean for the citizens of Aurora, whether through the government or whether through the school districts, as to what's going to be able to help us facing these very, very stark numbers at this point.
Mr. Lyons.
And I talked earlier with Alderman O'Connor, as Alex alluded to, we have about a 15-person across all department group that met earlier today that will be looking at all of our support options. Meaning our CDBG housing folks will be involved, economic development, public safety. We will have, Ken, we didn't have you on the call. You'll be on the next call. I'll be adding you. But all of our great team that is really good at grants, we're going to put them all under one roof and say we need to track everything and make sure we're getting every dollar we can from the federal government, because that's our tax dollars as well. So we want to get that back.
Alderman O'Connor.
Just one more comment. I think you've already made it clear. I think this is an opportunity, even with the dire numbers that are presented, to continue to assure the citizens of Aurora that the services that we provide, the essential services that we provide, are not going to be interrupted. We're going to work hard at every direction to make sure that those services are available for the citizens.
I believe we are. We absolutely are. All right, so there's been a motion and a second to accept and file this report. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. Okay, let's go on to approval of the bills. Is there a motion to approve and pay the bills
So
as listed on
moved.
the agenda?
Second.
A motion to approve and pay the bills has been made by Alderman Hartburns, seconded by Alderman Garza. Are there any questions or discussions on the bills? There being none, clerk, will you please call the roll?
Alderman Yamas?
Yes.
Alderman Garza?
Yes.
Alderman Deno?
Yes.
Alderman Franco?
Yes.
Alderman Seville?
Yes.
Alderman Hartburns?
Yes.
Alderman Smith?
Yes.
Alderman Bug?
Yes.
Alderman Lopshi?
Yes.
Alderman Jenkins?
Yes.
Alderman O'Connor?
Yes.
11 ayes.
Motion carries. The bills are approved. Before we adjourn, let me just ask the council. This is our first meeting after the crisis has begun, where we're all staying home and we're having on video. Is this a good time? 3 p.m. We're going to probably go back to Tuesdays. We've got I think we've determined, clerk, which Tuesdays in April, because I guess we're all going to be homebound pretty much for at least the next month of April. What Tuesdays in April are we looking to do this?
Now, the 14th and the 28th.
All right, so those are our next two meetings that we'll have. And it'll be just city council meetings. We won't have any committee meetings. We won't have any COW meetings. We're going to just have our council meetings and deal with our agenda just like we did today. And I know one of our aldermen isn't here, Alderman Messiacos, who was on a practice call with us yesterday at 3 o'clock. This seemed to be a good time. The reason I think, especially some of our senior aldermen can talk about, the reason we usually have our city council meetings at 5 for COW and 6 for city council is to have the general public be able to get off work and come participate. But in the case where most people are staying home, except for those with critical jobs and positions that require them to be out. It seems like most people would probably be home at 3 o'clock on a Tuesday, at least for the next month. Is that a good time for you guys? Would you say to have our next meeting Tuesdays at 3 o'clock?
Yes.
Yes.
Alderman, yes. Hold on, Council, and then Alderman Seville.
Mayor, I think probably the best thing would be to have the aldermen respond to you individually and then go with the consensus in their individual response. This isn't noticed as a special meeting, so we do have to keep to the agenda.
Absolutely. Wait. Individual response now or just?
They should get back to you individually.
Got you. But all right, so this is the question I have. So Alderman Seville, go ahead.
To get back, Rick, did you say to get back to him individually to the mayor after the meeting?
That would be my suggestion, that the mayor is soliciting your input individually as to when the next meeting should be scheduled. Let him know individually, and then he will proceed with calling the meeting.
Alderman Franco.
So I just want to know what the reason for the 3 o'clock is, just because people may be home. Why go? I mean, it doesn't matter to me, and I'll get back to you individually, but what is the reasoning for this?
And all right, so as Rick pointed out, based on this being a special meeting and this discussion in and of itself not being on the agenda, we'll get back to you, and either myself, Alexandra, or Rick Veenstra will get back to you and explain why we're doing it at 3 o'clock. But simply put, because most people are going to be available at 3 o'clock when normally we wouldn't be, based on the crisis and the circumstance. All right, so if anyone has any concerns or questions about what I just said, please give me or the clerk or Corporation Counsel or Chief of Staff a call, and we'll go forward with it. But with no further business coming before the City
Move to
Council,
adjourn.
there's been a motion to adjourn by Alderman Hart
Second.
Burns, seconded by Alderman Jenkins. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. This meeting is hereby adjourned. Very good meeting. First time we all getting together on video. So this worked out. We are a smart city. You guys have a good night.
Blessings.
Thank you.
Blessings.
Thank you, YT.
All right, and we can end our recording now. Thank you.